What is going on, guys? Jack here, and this is remember this? Remember the parts of Prem in the future? Yeah, I owe you a video. We're here finally. You might be sat thinking, Jack, why is this video taking so long? I already did it once, and I didn't have any mic audio. Yep, that was good. So we're back today, 25 years in the future, 50 years in the future, to answer the simple question: what became of Towler Town? Now, last time I left you guys, we were in 2048, I want to say, so we're now in 2063. It's been 15 years since the last episode, 25 years since I left, so long gone of all the players of old, really, but not really, because the manager is a familiar face. Yes, Elias Schumacher. The one and only Elias Schumacher, the centre-back we signed in our final ever season, a player who went on to have a long and illustrious career at Towler Town, has, taken the plunge into management, and having ascended through the ranks of Kukuriki, of course the old Towler Town affiliate, has now ended up at Towler themselves, where in his most recent season he finished 4th. Yeah, of course, last time we left things, Towler had finished 2nd and then had won the league. You can see, since then, they won 3 seasons back-to-back up to 2050. And then, this needs a name, this era. The Turbulent era? I don't know. Things did not go to plan. They went from winning the league to finishing 8th in 2051, as you can see here. Completely missing out on European football. It was actually an oddly close season. So many teams were very, very close to one another. And, from there, things went from bad to worse, including one year finishing 16th. Oh, my word. Yeah, they actually got Champions League football that year. Sorry, what? Sorry. Right, we're going to have to go to the... I did not know... They got Champions League football for finishing 16th. And they only just avoided relegation. They must have won the Europa League, right? We can probably go to the fixtures. I think it was 2054, was it? The years get very long at this point. Was it this year? They're in the Champions League this year, so I think it's this season. Right, so they're in the Europa League, and they went on to win the whole blooming thing. Of course they did. If we look at past winners, have they won it any other years? They have. They won it in that 53-54 year, and they also won it a few years ago now in 2060-61. What about Champions League past winners? Is there any Towler? There is. Not as frequently as you would like to see, to be fair. But in 2047-48, they did it. Was that not? That might have been last video. Either way, things are looking good. On the financial front, they've got a lot of money in the bank. And you might think, Jack, why have they got a lot of money in the bank? They have a new stadium. Are you ready to find out what this stadium is called? I'm in tears. I'm actually... Henry Kumwenda Park. Yes, that's right. The schoolboy has a stadium named after him, built in 2059, holding 65,000 Towler fans. Yeah, that's right. For about the best part of 50 years, well, not 50 years, 40 years, they were stuck with that tiny stadium. They finally have a new one, the Henry Kumwenda Park. And in their most recent season, with more gate receipts, I suppose, coming in, the team actually finished 3rd under Elias Schumacher, which, I don't know, it brings a tear to my eye. Only 3 points away from the title, the glory years returning, perhaps, to the mighty Towler. If we just look here at staff members, Elias Schumacher in as manager, Claudio Cancina as well in as the under-23 manager. 48 years old, he was not away from Towler for very long whatsoever. You can see here, obviously, he came to Towler in 2033, retired in 2052. It looks like, actually, no, he had a year at Celtic afterwards. He had a few loan spells as well. And then he's gone on to become the under-23s manager in 2054. And in the last 9 years, he's remained in charge and, in fact, been caretaker manager on 3 separate occasions. And, between him and between him and Schumacher, Claudio Cancina, 2 of the old guard holding down the fort for everyone else. Of course, if you do notice anything here that I don't notice for whatever reason, please do let me know it down in the comments. I would love to, be made aware of anything that I might have missed. You can see here, most overall goals by a player, Shvetsov with 50. That was while we were still in charge. Most league appearances by any player is Craig Austin, who retired just 7 years ago. He retired at the age of 39 and played for Towler Town for that entire time. 619 appearances, 190 caps. What a career he ended up having. You can see Steve Norman got the highest average rating, actually, a few years ago now. This was during last episode, but I didn't look at the records before. Not a bad little career he ended up having, retiring at the age of 38. Similarly to Austin, just having an obscene amount of goals. In fact, you can see here, 153 international goals. Where does that put him in the record books? I'll tell you where it puts him. It puts him in leading the way. 153 goals. What about most number of appearances? Most capped player was Alvin John, who is now a goalkeeping coach. He got 201 caps as a goalkeeper for England. That is absolutely insane. I'm a bit disappointed Craig Austin hasn't got it, but it's fair enough. You can see here, actually, Craig Austin, youngest ever player to play for England, and also the oldest ever player to play for England. He played for England aged 38. That's mad. That is actually mad that he was playing for the England national team aged 38. He's not a goalkeeper, he's a blooming centre-back. And he actually scored a goal aged 38 against Slovakia. Oh, my word. I mean, build a statue for him, England. Build a blooming statue. Anyway, you can have a look through the rest of the records here. I'm sure there's some stuff I'm going to miss. Please point it out to me. Tell me I'm an idiot for not spotting it sooner. If we just look at the Premier League past winners, I feel like this is worth just having a look at. You can see Watford actually won the league on a few occasions. Where are they now? Let's take a quick peek. So they won the league on a few occasions. They are actually kind of a fairly constant of the kind of European football spots, kind of top 6 in England. You can see in the last few years, Manchester United have restored dominance. Sheffield United also got a league win, which is a mighty fine, impressive feat. And obviously you can see Town did win a couple more league titles along the way. Could be interesting to see if they can maybe get one more, as we are going to be jumping forward another 25 years to 50 years after we left in just a moment. If we just take a look at the trophy cabinet, the honours, 15 Premier Leagues for Town, 3 Champions League, 1 Club World Cup. Yes, they achieved the thing that I couldn't achieve. They did it in 2049. I mean, fair play to you. Who was in charge in 2049? Who deserves the credit? Who deserves the credit? You can see they've got through a lot of managers here. It might have been Memphis Depay. Might have been Depay. It might have been Fausto Vera. Probably Vera, because Depay got sacked. Who else has been in charge? Declan Rice has been caretaker manager on a few occasions. Sander Berg has been manager. I mean, I love this. Just Cancina and Declan Rice holding down the fort as caretaker manager on a number of occasions. I assume that we are still the longest serving manager at 18 years. Sione actually, lasted 6 years. He did pretty well, all things considering. And actually, Elias Schumacher has now been in charge for 2 years and 104 days, which comparatively to a lot of teams around Town is actually very, very good. You can see here, it's kind of crazy the managerial career he's had climbing up through the ranks. I assume he is listed as a Town kind of legend or something. If we look at general overview here, you can see Kumwende is considered the biggest legend at the club. They built a blooming stadium after him. I've got tears in my eyes. Andre Dezel also still there. Shvetsov and Schumacher just listed as a player now. Might be interesting to see if that updates. Craig Austin, by the way, played for about 20 seasons consecutively, only considered an icon. I mean, I would be launching a complaint if I was him. Obviously, a few more players here. Sonny Best retired as a staff member, aged 61. I assume he was an England coach. He was an England coach until 2062. Oh, my word, that brings tears to my eyes. He was England coach for 29 years, was Sonny Best. I bet he saw his fair share of managers come and go in that time. Hater Louise also listed in the icons. Of course, he was a youngster who was in the academy just as we left. He'd had a very serious leg break. I think he was in his early 20s. But yeah, he's gone on to be a bit of a Town legend. Played for 12 years at the club. And, plenty of familiar faces here. Cancina should be higher. Mike Frost, retired aged 37 at Stuttgart. Looking further away. They've got one favourite personnel. Let's see who this favourite personnel is. It's a player who's currently at the team. It is Marian Savitnacevic, I don't know, that's probably incorrect. 25 years old, he looks pretty good, doesn't he? He is actually considered their key player at the moment, interestingly enough. Who was their top goal scorer this year? It was this guy, An Saleme, who looks blooming brilliant, actually. I can see why they're making a bit of a resurgence up the league if they've got these kind of players. I am curious, how much did they stick to our philosophy of trying to develop players from within the club? If we just sort by homegrown status... I mean, actually, I'm pleasantly surprised. 5 players homegrown at club, including a Russian. Maybe a distant descendant of Shvetsov. 88 caps at the age of 23. He looks like a pretty good... I was going to say pretty good centre-back. It looks like he hasn't quite made up his mind on where he wants to play looking at these positions. It's kind of a case of he plays wherever he's told to play. Elsewhere, you can see Nicholas Hart, an England international. Clubs trained at Millwall and Towlaw. Looks like Towlaw picked him up very early on. You can see they did here for £9 million. He's gone on to be a regular in the first team, age 21. But yeah, sticking with our philosophy, and still a relatively young team, although it looks like a small squad. Maybe I'm just, I build too bigger teams, but this seems like a quite small team that Towlaw have right now. They have got plenty of money to spend, I suppose, with the increased attendances of the Cumwenda Park. They can afford to just have, far more fans come into games. If we just look actually at the Premier League and team detailed stats and sort by, I guess, stadium sellouts would be a good one. How often are they selling out the stadium? 97% average attendance, 11 sellouts in 19 league games, 63,000 fans turning up each and every day. Where does that rank them in terms of best supported teams? 4th best in England. That's pretty good. I wonder if Chelsea, because they've got a big average attendance, I wonder if they built a new stadium named after Frank Lampard. I'd be amazed if it wasn't named after him. Oh, okay, it's the Gianfranco Zola Stadium, which, I don't know, I feel bad for Frank Lampard, because he was there forever. He was there for longer than we were at Towlaw, and yet they don't even remember him with a stadium. They've given it to Zola instead. I mean, I would be complaining, Frank. You're welcome to Towlaw anytime. Worth noting, by the way, the facilities and stuff have been upgraded, which is really cool to see. And a media prediction of 5th isn't that bad. It seems like after having a few wibbly-wobbly years, maybe Towlaw are getting back on track. But anyway, we're going to go forward another 25 years. Obviously, 50 years into the future, stuff going on is kind of very far removed from what was happening while we were at the club, but it's still interesting nevertheless to look at. Do they win another Premier League? Can they maintain this slow but sure climb up the league? Or is it all going to go horribly wrong? I suppose we'll go and find out. Let's do this. Okay guys, so for the final time we're here, and it is the year 2088. My word, this game took a long time to get to this point, let me tell you. And well, I suppose the logical thing is to just go to England and see where the club ranks. So let's take a look. Where does Towlaw rank in reputation as the game loads? As I said, it gets slow this time into the future, and there is a distinct lack of Towlaw under major clubs. Where are you, boys? Where are you? Okay, still in the Premier League. That's kind of the main thing. And actually, a rise in rep as of late. Brighton, the 4th highest rep team in England, is a bizarre sight. Almost as weird as seeing Towlaw up there. Also, I've just seen Swansea, who we could have gone to once upon a time, also hot on our heels. I say our heels like I've been at the club, but I just haven't, have I? I just haven't. Anyway, the league history here only shows the last 20 years, I want to say. Is it 20 years? 20 years. So there's a few years that we'll have to check the gaps for. But they did win a league. They won a league in the year 2069. Nice. They finished ahead of Man City and Arsenal. Who was the manager in 2069? Who was the man to lead them to the promised land? If we just take a peek, it was Julien, who resigned from his role. They won the Premier League and the Europa League. I mean, they won the Europa League a few times. Towlaw turning into a Europa League specialist, perhaps. It's not exactly where I want to see them being. I say that, and then I actually check, and they've only won it twice in the last kind of however many years. Did they have any further success in the Champions League? No, they didn't. They didn't simply, but they did make a final in 2072-73. They lost at the London Stadium to Barcelona, who went on to win it 4 years in a row. Oh dear, Towlaw. Oh dear, Towlaw. How long did Schumacher last? You might be wondering. He lasted 4 years and 249 days. No, that's a separate... Did he manage them twice? Am I going crazy? So he's there. Okay, he managed them up here. So yes, this was obviously the 25-year bit. So he lasted 4 years, which actually makes him one of the longest-serving managers. He won a Europa League in that time. And then 7 years after he was sacked, he returned to the club and did nothing. 60% win percentage is not amazing, and he was sacked, which is a shame. I'm noticing that Cancina has stopped appearing. Cancina, what are you up to, my friend? Where are you? He's still at the club. He's 73. He looks absolutely phenomenal as a coach. Oh, he's retiring. He's retiring this year. Is this how Park to Prem finishes? With Cancina retiring. He's been a coach since 2063. Of course, he had some caretaker stints. So he first joined the team in 2054. He's now retiring as a staff member 34 years later. 34 years at Tower Town as a staff member. And as a player, he was there for 19 years as well. So he was at the club for 53 years of his 73 years on this planet. I mean, he better bloody be a club legend. He better be a club legend. I mean, no, he's still just listed as an icon. I mean, it's just a big shame, really. You can see here, Elias Schumacher is now listed as a player manager, which is cool to see. If we just look at... actually, we'll do this. We'll go to records. Is it records? We want league positions. So we can look at... I don't want highest league position. I want their final league position, because they didn't win the league this year, Football Manager. Where is that? I'm trying to remember now. Is it competition history? I mean, this is quite a good screen to look at, I suppose. So they won the league, actually, a couple of years ago. They finished 17th twice in a row. The year before this one, they finished 6th, and they've now just finished 7th. But look at this trophy cabinet. 3 Champions League, only 1 more Premier League in the last 25 years. No more Club World Cups. They've won 6 FA Cups, 4 Europa Leagues, 4 UEFA Super Cups, 9 Carabao Cups, and a partridge in a pear tree. They've won the leasing.com trophy on 3 occasions as well, although a number of those will have been the under-23s, oddly enough. Oh, it feels just sad looking at this, doesn't it? You can see the past league positions here. So for the years where we had a gap, kind of in our knowledge, if we just have a peek for it, I mean, you can see here they won the league in 2050, and then they would win it again in 2069, and since then it's been another 19 years of a drought. They did maintain quite an established European presence, it looks like, for a number of years. They are still playing at the Henrik and Wender Park. They're currently without a manager, which is concerning. Their facilities have not kept up either. They have really dropped off the pace. If we just look at their finances, I mean, they've got 72 million in the bank. They're doing okay. You would have thought they would have upgraded their kits in the last 50 years, but it turns out they haven't. Who would have thought? Media prediction was 8th this most recent year. Are there any other staff members kicking around? It doesn't look like it, does it? It does not look like it. I think Cancina is the last of a dying breed of names that I can recognise. The fact that we've got a player who was, one of our hot prospects when we kind of started simming into the future, who is now retiring as a staff member in his 70s, kind of gives you a pretty good idea of how far into the future we have gone at this point. Were there any, just looking at this screen, were there any new faces here that we don't recognise? Not really. I'm looking through expecting to see some players. This guy, I can click on you. Joel Marichal. He has the same headband as Norman. He played for Tower for 11 years, 115 goals in that time to 2056. And he went on to have a bit of a hit-and-miss career at both Real Madrid and Liverpool from the looks of things. Any other names here that we can click on? This guy, 34 years old. How many years did you spend at Tower? I mean, you were signed for 110 million and then sold on for 89 million. Tower, you are going mad with your transfers. If we just look at highest transfers, did they ever spend more than 110 million? So they spent 151 million on Kenny Besse. I mean, he does look brilliant, but the fact they've not won a title despite spending 169 million pounds on a player is mental. And they sold him on for 39 million 6 or 7 years later. It looks like with the Kumwenda Stadium, they've had the money to fund transfers. They've just done an absolutely atrocious transfer business. Have they received any monster fees? 109 million there, 106 million there. 139 million they received for one of their players. So it looks like they've kind of wheeled and dealed, but compared to the days of Roger McCassie, there's not been too many sales that come close to him. Way back in 2037, 38. Man, 50 years is a long time when you start scrolling through and kind of realising how big it is. If we just look at the overall records, no one eclipsed Andrei Shvetsov's record for goals. Craig Austin held on to the most appearances by a player. Norman still has the highest average rating of any player. Chimbonda still has the oldest player record. And Morrigan, most clean sheets in the season. The streets will never forget Juanma Morrigan. What a man he ended up being for us. It's actually amazing how many of these records exist from when we were in charge. Not many of them are changed, including the biggest win, which you can see here came against Supersport United, that 15-0 win. I like to believe that, 51 years on, this is still a match that is talked about by the fans. The game where Shvetsov got 10 goals in a match. I can imagine the folklore around it, anytime Towler and Supersport United play each other, you know, like once every 2 decades, that people break out the highlights and just watch them back. But yeah, I think that's everything. I feel like we'd already said goodbye to this save game, but I did promise you guys this one more video. I wanted to bring it to you. I will make a save game of the 50 years in the future available for download down in the comments. So if you do want to check out this save game, maybe you'll unearth some stuff that I didn't notice. You can inform people down in the comments, or if you just want to have a poke around yourself, you most certainly can. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed Part to Prem. I'm apologising yet again for the fact that this has been a bit of a delayed response. I hope you have been enjoying the rest of the content going on the channel. We've got the Lizanac series going on. We're streaming on the regular at twitch.tv/WorkTheSpace. FM21 only looks like it's probably going to be 3 months away, there or thereabouts. So I hope you're excited for that as well. And, well, that is going to be all from me today. It is me, Jack. Thank you for your support as always. Goodbye, Towler Town, forever in our hearts. Thank you, Cancina. I want to end on Cancina. I want him to be the everlasting thought of this save game. He was the real, you know, Park to Prem hero. I mean, I only did, what, 19 years at the team? This man did over 50. Captain, leader, legend. I don't know if he was actually captain. We'll just go leader, legend, caretaker, manager. Doesn't sound as good. Cancina, thank you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.